ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. The nectar of thy words revives the scourged spirit of human beings. They purify the sinners and are the life of holy. Welcome to the gospel class today. And Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we are on page 388, and the chapter is The Master and His Injured Arm. In the last gospel class, Sri Ramakrishna told about the ideal of householder and also ideal of sannyasins. And he is continuing and a lot of nice talks today with devotees. So it was this one was recorded on February 2, 1884. Sri Ramakrishna said, last class we read the last paragraph, on the paragraph that begins on page 388. After attaining Brahma Jnana, one does not have to discriminate even about food. The rishis of olden times, endowed with the knowledge of Brahman and having experienced divine bliss, ate everything, even pork. So, no distinction between anything is there when Brahma Jnana has attained. So, food doesn't matter. As Swami Vivekananda says, food, whether well cooked or ill, don't discriminate that, don't bother about that. Everything becomes acceptable to a Brahmagyani. And as Sri Ramakrishna said, and the first stuff about what to eat and what not to eat, it is for the sadhaka in the beginning. We know how this Buddha, the Lord Buddha, he passed away. Actually, he was invited by a smith, by the iron smith, and iron smith fed him pork, and unfortunately the pork was contaminated, perhaps. But that iron smith didn't know. His name was Chanda Kamara Putta, the son of Kamara, son of the iron smith. His name was Chanda, and he loved Buddha. And when he was invited, Buddha was invited by him. Buddha went there as he used to go to uh, rich persons or anyone who invited. For him, everyone was equal. There was no, this is a high person, this is low person. Every person, whoever invited him, he went there, and he accepted their hospitality and made them happy. And this person was also lover of Buddha, and he went there, and whatever was offered, he ate. And he offered, they say story goes, he offered the pork. And that pork was somehow, after eating that, he fell ill. It was in the Pawa in present UP. And then from after eating that, he went ahead and went to Kushinagara. In Kushinagara, he attained Mahaparinirvana, or ultimate, he gave up life. In Kushinagara, still there, it is there, Buddha, uh, one of the very important pilgrimage for the Buddhists and for all holy religious persons, where Buddha gave up his life and concluded his Leela in this earth after 80 years of life. So it was by eating pork. Even Buddha, the incarnation of God, according to Hindus, or the founder of religion of Buddhism, he had no problem with eating any vegetarian, non-vegetarian, nothing was there. He even ate pork. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. For Brahmagyanis, eating anything does not contaminate or does not make them impure. They can even eat pork, which is considered to be not very good for many people. So that is what distinction about the food goes away. This first about the food goes away. After that, Sri Ramakrishna says to Mahima, who was a devotee of God. Sri Ramakrishna liked him, he was a learned person. To Mahima, generally speaking, there are two kinds of yoga, karma yoga and mano yoga. That is to say, union with God through work and through the mind. We know there are four yogas: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So Sri Ramakrishna brings those into two: Karma Yoga, the union through action, and another union through mind. In mind, you can include all the three rest of the three yogas, where the mental work, as in Raja Yoga or in your Jnana Yoga, you have to work through mind. In the Vichara, Neti Neti in Jnana Yoga, in Raja Yoga, stealing the mind, all the actions of the mind. Even in Bhakti Yoga, there is a lot of work of mind, particularly mind's emotional aspect of mind. Tremendous love for God, love for God's creature, love for God's creation. That makes the Bhakti Yoga. And out of love, there might be service, there might be feeding. But out of love, that's the first the love created, the mind created love, and from that love created all this service. Work may be there. But basically, even Bhakti Yoga is an act of Mano Yoga where mind is active, mind has to be purified to become Bhakta, a mind has to lose the seeing of good and bad, has to see God everywhere. It's all about mind's work in Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise, there will be no Bhakti Yoga. Another is Karma Yoga, where the action is performed without any attachment to the fruits of action. And that also becomes a sadhana to realize God. And Sri Ramakrishna says, two kinds of yoga: Mano Yoga, that's union with God through work. So you can unite with God through Karma Yoga. By doing action alone, you can realize God. But that action has to be without attachment, without the feeling of doership, without any consideration for profit and loss, for honor and dishonor. Then only it will become Karma Yoga. And at another place, Sri Ramakrishna says Karma Yoga is difficult to perform, to have no ego for doing the things, no doership. It is not easy. But that is also a way through action, through work, you can realize God. Then Sri Ramakrishna describes about the four stages of life. There are four stages of life: Brahmacharya, Garhastya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. During the first three stages, a man has to perform his worldly duties. The sannyasi, and in the fourth stage, no worldly responsibility. So, brahmacharya, you have to learn, get up early in the morning, do sandhya vandana, keep your body and mind clean, and then study, do guru seva, lot of rituals in brahmacharya life to gain the knowledge, to make your life disciplined, life made into a particular habit, which will continue during your other three stages of life. So even four stages of life. That's how this brahmacharya is so important as the founding block of the human life. So there you have to do work. And in the Grihastha Ashrama Garhastya, there is so much work to do to sustain yourself, your family, earning money, taking care of their health. It is also a lot of sacrifice in the life of a Garhastya. Mother sacrifices for her children. Father has to look after his wife and children, earn money, do by hard work in the field or by the trade or going to office, whatever way, he has to work very hard. There is a lot of work involved in Garyastha. And what about Vanaprastha? Vanaprastha is the life of retirement. But still there is some duties, like the person has to guide his next progeny, next children. So children take the responsibility, but guiding in their affair, how to deal, they will come to ask suggestion and advice. And that the your role becomes to guide the children in life. So it becomes more of guiding and teacher. they withdraw from the active participation in the household duties, but there is passive participation when their children take some wrong decision or do something wrong, or there is a little conflict between the person's children. He has to try to mitigate among them. So a lot of work is there in vanaprastha also. Though he may, vanaprastha means going to forest, still there is some connection with the household. Even as they may go there to ask something or complain something, sometimes he may have to come back to house to advise other children, other sons. Like that, there is something, connection is there. So that's called vanaprastha, not directly attached to the work and responsible, but indirectly there still remains something to guide their family and things. But in sannyasa, all that relationship is severed. There is no connection at all. Sannyasin just leaves the household and leaves spouse, mm, whether sannyasi or sannyasini, whether mother or father. And it is in the advanced age generally, it is to happen third stage of life in Vedic times after Vanaprastha. And the only goal of life was to devote to God, total disconnection with family life, and there is no responsibility, no work. So how would they live? Like any other sannyasin, just by begging food. Whatever it comes, they will do that. Fully, they will meditate on God. They will think of God and roam in the world. So only the thought is about the realization of God and nothing else. Only spiritual evolution and realization of God. That remains in sannyasa. But what do they have? Sri Ramakrishna says, the sannyasi carries only his staff, water pot, and begging bowl. These three things only are there. So staff, they have to sometimes get help, and there is a system. There is in Dasanami Sampradaya, they have to have small staff. They're not used as the help to walk because in advanced age you become sannyasi. But as a sign, insignia of that, you are a Dasanami Sampradaya. The monk of a Dasanami Sampradaya, Dasanami sect, that you carry a small staff, small thin that stick, but not used for walking. Um, that was there. That's why Dandi Swami, they call Dandi. So even in the Ramakrishna mission, when we get sannyasa, we are given that danda, small thin staff, and that danda we just after as soon as we come and take bath, we give up that danda in the water in Ganga. That is not needed. We don't keep that. And there is a water pot and begging bowl, kamandalu as it is called. Where will the person get water? So the sannyasi is supposed to roam around. Um, like a mendicant, he has to roam around, go from village to village, talk about God, and that's how sannyasi life used to be. Bake food from houses and then walk and think of God while walking, talk of God when you meet some people, and give some spiritual advice when some people ask you. That is the life of a sannyasi, and so that's why they will not get water everywhere. So begging water, there's not be like any water pot, but there's the water bowl, that bowl for water, and that's called water pot. That's called kamandalu, something carrying with a handle. It used to be. And there used to be a begging bowl. They used to have one bowl for begging food and eating. So some people even didn't have even the bowl for begging. They used to have a beg in the hand, and whatever came in the hand, they eat. Like Jain sannyasins, they don't carry begging bowl. Uh, they carry one fan rather. Always they have a fan, and they don't give begging bowl. So how do they beg? Only hands. They beg in the hands. Even the water they will get in the hand and drink that water when it's given. And food, whatever is they get by begging in the hand, they eat that. So that is the thing. Then why do they carry fan? They don't carry even these two things. They don't carry even the staff or stick. Why do they carry fan? So they carry fan because wherever they sit, they have to clean that there is no insect around. So no insect is killed by their sitting down. That's why they will first sweep the ground. with that fan, and then they will sit there. So they don't want that. They rely on ahimsa or non-killing of any creature, not even the insect. Visible insect cannot be killed. That's why they carry the fan. So they don't even in the Digambar Jains, they don't even wear any clothes. They don't have to wash even clothes. So like that is their enunciation. Some Hindus also are there who don't who is not to carry the begging bowl. And one famous monk was there. He was like a very a leader of the monastic order. He used to live in Varanasi. He was called Karapatri. Uh, Karapatri means the patra. The begging bowl is hands. Hand are the begging bowls. So he didn't carry even the begging bowl. But the monks are allowed to keep all these three: begging bowl, the staff, and the water pot or kamandalu. Nothing else, no other work, no other possession. About what about performing action? The sannyasi too may perform certain nitya karma, but his mind is not attached to it. He is not conscious of doing such work. Now, as I said, in brahmacharya, there is a training for nitya karma. What they should do in the beginning, and that continues through grihastha ashrama and also in the banaprastha ashrama. In sannyasa, there is no obligation of performing nitya karma like doing japam or doing worshipping God or anything. But they may do it. But not doing that will not harm anything. But they may continue doing japam in the morning as Guru had given before. He had sannyasa, some mantra he had got. He can repeat that. He can worship God. But he is not attached to any of this action. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. But no problem in performing. There is to be one Swami Chandrasekharendra Saraswati. He was a Brahmagyani. They say he was a pontiff of Kanchi Kamkoti, Shankaracharya of Kanchi Kamkoti. So he lived for 100 years. He used to worship the Shiva in the morning every day when he was even senior. So people asked, "You are a Brahmagyani. For you, worship and no worship doesn't matter. But why do you worship?" He said, then he replied, "I live in the body, I eat, I do so many things. What is harm in worshipping God? As I do many things in life, that the karma. So this is also a nitya karma." So like that he had said. I remember Chandramoulishwara Shiva that they used to worship. And he used to worship even after realizing Brahman. Some sannyasis perform nitya karma to set an example to the world. If a householder or a man belonging to the other stages of life performs action without attachment, then he is united with God through such action. Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes again the karma yoga, that if anyone performs action without attachment, and that will lead to moksha. You don't have to do any other thing. You don't have to do pranayama and yoga. One doesn't have to do all bhakti and decorating God and doing kirtan and doing lot of japa. One doesn't have to do vichara always, neti, neti, nothing is there, no relation, nothing. But through mere work done in the right attitude and right spirit, one can become realized soul. But that attitude is without attachment. Then he is united with God. And he says some sannyasis perform action to teach people that what they should do. Swami Vivekananda said sannyasi is born to teach mankind. So sannyasi's life is twofold. One is to for his own mukti, moksha, and other is to set an example of spiritual life to the world. That's how Atmana Mokshartham Jagat Hitaya cha, Swami Vivekananda said. Even further than only teaching the people of spiritual life by performing nitya karma or leading a life of equanimity, which all becomes like the teaching. You are not ruffled by, you are not disturbed by honor and dishonor. All the people see and they absorb the quality. Sannyasi becomes the ideal of the householders, how householders' life should be, what type of mind they should develop. Like that, the sannyasi's life becomes. So they are sannyasis. That's why they said, Swami Vivekananda said, sannyasi he says, sannyasi stands on the head of the Vedas. So he goes beyond the Vedas and becomes manifest all the teaching of the Vedas in his life. The equanimity, detachment, service to all, sacrifice, egolessness, all that is described in the Vedas as the ideal of mankind, the ideal of the most evolved man, has to become manifest, visible in the sannyasis. That's Swami Vivekananda said. Swami Vivekananda went still further for the role of a sannyasis. He says sannyasi's role is not only teaching spirituality, that was there, that is there, no doubt, but he has to also teach other things in the world, and also do service to the people. Sannyasin should be able to serve the people through directly through. That's why he started. He guided Ramakrishna Mission to run schools and colleges. I'm still not sure about that. So then he said that school running, orphanages, hospitals, and doing during your natural calamities, the relief works, all sannyasins should go. And with sannyasin, householders will work. So a sannyasin and householder together will make an activity to serve the people. That's why Atmano Mokshatam Jagat Hitaya Cha. Hita of Jagat, good of world, not only through just teaching or being an example of the spiritual ideal, but also through direct service, direct help to the people. That is the ideal of sannyasins. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna says, sannyasin performs nitya karma to set an example to the world. In the case of a Paramahamsa like Sukadeva, all karmas, all puja, japa, tarpan, sandhya, and so forth drop away. In this state, a man communes with God through the mind alone. Sometimes he may be pleased to perform outward activities for the welfare of mankind, but his recollection and contemplation of God remain uninterrupted. Always united with God, no compulsion of doing any nitya karma, any sandhya vandana, because he is always united with God and may sometimes perform karma or nitya karma, and at that time also united with God. For whom? For Paramahamsa like Shukadeva. So Sri Ramakrishna himself was a Paramahamsa. And how much work he performed, Swami Vivekananda says he worked 20 hours out of 24. What was his work? Meeting the people, welcoming the people whenever they came, trying to remove their suffering, giving them inspiration and light, the inspiration to live a better life, transform their lives. So all that Sri Ramakrishna constantly did in his life, all this karma, karma kalevaram adbhuta chestam. How much karma yoga Sri Ramakrishna did in his life, though he was a Paramahamsa sannyasin. Throughout until the last, he always went on doing how to transform the life of the disciples, life of the ordinary people. How can they be elevated? When he was concluding his life, then he said to his disciple, you have to do for the people to remove their suffering. He said to Holy Mother, you have to look after the people. They are in so much trouble. They are like the worms in crawling in the like worms in dark. So you have to show them the path and light. Like that, Sri Ramakrishna, not only himself, he did so much of karma, so much of seva for the people who needed so much. But he even guided and he it was his imperative, it was his command to Holy Mother, to Swami Vivekananda, to all his disciples, do something for humanity, do something to alleviate the life of the people. That was Sri Ramakrishna's Karma Yoga. He didn't stop with his passing away. He made it sure that the parampara of service goes on, and Swami Vivekananda finally put as the motto of the Ramakrishna order that it is Jagat Hitaya is as important as Atmana Mokshartham. So should go together. Ganga and Yamuna should flow together. It was about 8 o'clock in the evening. Sri Ramakrishna asked Mahima Charan to recite a few hymns from the scriptures. Mahima read the first verse of the Uttara Gita, describing the nature of the Supreme Brahman. Mahima was very learned, and Sri Ramakrishna was talking. So he knew something. Mahima will feel good to recite the things. People will also hear. And then he inspired and he suggested Mahima to recite some mantras. And Mahima Charan first recites from Uttara Gita. Uttara Gita also from Mahabharata. It is a conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, where Krishna still further gives the tips for the further knowledge of Brahma Jnana to Arjuna. So, in that Uttara Gita, one verse is mentioned here. He, Brahman, is one, partless, stainless, and beyond the ether, without beginning or end, unknowable by mind or intelligence. Exactly like what is said in the Upanishad that he quotes here in the Mahabharata, the Krishna quotes to Arjuna. So it is very highly philosophical, this Uttara Gita is. Now, finally, he came to the seventh verse of the third chapter, which reads, you see how many verses this Mahimataran is reading. Sri Ramakrishna wants to engage him in work, and he will feel very good, and also everyone will listen some Sanskrit of this. And the seventh verse, M doesn't quote everything, he quotes the seventh verse of the third chapter. The twice born worships the deity in fire. Where is God? No? Well, there is one beautiful talk by Swami Sarvapriyananda. What is God? Where is God? So, where is God? So, this is here also. The twice born are all the people, Dvija they call twice born, who do Upanayana Samskara. So, all those people, traditionally, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, all they were used to do Upanayana. They were all called twice born. First born from the womb of mother, then born of this samskara, having this upanayana and ritual, they have to perform the religious performance, permission for that. In that, there's the seventh verse of the third chapter says, the twice born worships the deity in fire. They worship God in fire, the Homa. The Munis contemplate him in the heart. So those rishis and munis who always contemplate God, God resides in the heart. God accepts through the fire. So two types of worship. Those they find God accepting their offering through the fire. Those are the Dvijas, and those munis, they think they worship God in the heart and try to feel the presence of God. Men of limited wisdom see him in the image. You see, limited wisdom. It doesn't say common men. Those who worship God in image alone are the men of limited wisdom. Manda buddhi. That is how the word is. Manda buddhi, limited wisdom. They see God only in the image. Unless they go to the place of worship, they have no inkling of God that dwells everywhere. That is not there at all. They have to go to the temple, they have to have the vision of the deity, then only they will see God. Otherwise, they will have no presence of God. Sometimes I was talking about pilgrimage. That pilgrimage we go and there is so much crowd, sometimes we come out without having the darshan of deity. And we see, oh, we had this pilgrimage, I went to the temple and nothing was done, I could not see the deity, as if that person did not reach God. So that is not the right thing. When we go to the place of pilgrimage, God is already there. God is not only in the image. God roams all around in the place. It is to us where we feel God. So if there is so much crowd and we are not able to see the deity, we should not feel disappointed. We have reached there. God has seen us. We have felt the God's presence. But that is for the Manda Buddhi. They will say, I have not seen the deity, God is not there. Only when seen the deity, then only God is there. Of course, when you see the deity beautifully decorated, you go to Bake Bihari in Vrindavan, and you wait because there is the screen always put there. They will remove the screen for 1 minute, and like 15 minutes, they will put the screen back. So 15 minutes, you cannot see DT. Half an hour, you cannot see DT. After that, after half an hour, for they will remove the screen, and DT is there, dazzling in light and ornaments and beautiful Krishna, Baki Bihari. And 1 minute again, they will close. So like that. For that, people wait. It's not that, oh, God is here, philosophical, we say. Swami said, doesn't matter, God is there beyond the screen, God is there, let us go back. Not that. When we go, we have time, we have to see that. It is too much crowded, we cannot stand, we have grown old, the people are pushing and not able to see. Then don't feel bad. That is what the saying is. So God is definitely there. Even God can see even beyond the screen. There's no problem that only when the screen is removed, God is looking at his, or God is there. So when we see God, really it looks, when you go to Tirupati and see the deity, not even 1 minute. In here, Baki Bihari, you can stand 1 minute and see. Tirupati, it will be second, 1 second perhaps, because they will not allow you to stand there, not even 1 second. You have to go on moving. But you can see from distance, you can see the deity when you walk until the deity and you go from in front of the deity. Only that much. But the deity is just like glowing with the presence, the divine presence you feel after standing in queue for 4 hours, 5 hours. People even stand for a whole day to see we have the vision of the deity. So that's how the God present there. So if we see God is present only in the image, then we become Manda Buddhi. When you say God is present also in the image, then we become intelligent. Sadbuddhi, we become like the Muni. God is in the image, God is outside the image. God sees when the screen is removed, God looks even when there is a screen. Like that, through the intellect, we understand and we feel more blessed when you go to the pilgrimage. So, men of limited wisdom see him in the image, and the yogis who have attained same sightedness behold him everywhere. So for them who have attained same-sidedness, attained the yoga, have realized God, for them there is no God only in the image. They will also go to see God, but they see God everywhere. So that is the thing told in Uttara Gita. You can see how Krishna tried to describe different kind of personality. And where is God? So this is also another answer. Where is God and what is God? So God is for the best of men, most spiritual person. God is everywhere. God is in everything. In the Taittiriya Upanishad also it is said, God created this world, and after creating this world out of himself, then what he did, he entered into every bit of this. So everything is only God. God created out of itself, created the world, and tat srishtva tad eva anupravishata, and he entered into every bit of it. So everything is God. It is the Upanishad, and these yogis, they make it practical. They realize this. No sooner did the master hear the words, the yogis who have attained same sightedness, than he stood up and went into samadhi, his arm supported by the splint and bandage. Speechless, the devotees looked at this yogi who had himself attained the state of same-sightedness. This is Yam's description, how Sri Ramakrishna comes under which three categories there. The four categories, one, two, three, four. So he says he is the yogi who has attained same-sightedness, and he went to Samadhi. And still that injured arm is the chapter. So he had a splint and bandage was done. He fell down. He saw beautiful scenery, and he thought of Radha and Krishna or something, and he fell down. And he was always asking, "He will be cured. It hurts," like that thing. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna description. After a long time, the master regained consciousness of the outer world and took his seat. He asked Mahima to recite verses describing the love of God. The letter recited from Narada Pancharatra. He had so much known. I don't know, he carried books. Perhaps I'm sure he recited all from his memory, this Mahimacharan. It's not he carried a bunch of books and then opened the page. It's not that. So he recited from all the things from his memory. He was very learned, very interested. And the verses say, what need is there if penance? What need is there of penance if God is worshipped with love? What is the use of penance if God is not worshipped with love? So, if God is worshipped with love, why do we need to do austerity? You have done the thing, the main thing is to love God with love, worship God with love. And if you do not love God, then what is the use of penance? You have not attained anything of that. Doing penance and having no love for God, it is useless. So that type of thing are there. The main thing is loving God. What need is there of penance if God is seen within and without? And what is the use of penance if God is not seen within and without? Nantar bahischedi hari tapasa tatakim. Antar bahischedi hari tapasa tatakim. If God is there inside and outside, you perceive, then why do you need to practice austerity, tapas? And if God, you cannot see God outside and inside, what is the use of doing penance? So austerity is not needed. The real thing is to perceive God everywhere, within and without. O Brahman, my child, cease from o, cease from practicing further penances. Hasten to Shankara, O Brahman. O my child, he said to Brahmin. O Brahman, O my child, cease from practicing further penances. Hasten to Shankara, the ocean of heavenly wisdom. Obtain from him the love of God, the pure love praised by devotees, which snaps in twain the shackles that bind you to the world. So it's about the love of Shiva, and Narada is saying that. So attain the love of God, rush to Shankara and Shiva, and then attain love and snap the bondage with the world, and be, as in Sri Ramakrishna language, be dilute in the love of God. That's Sri Ramakrishna used to say. Be diluted in the love of God. Master, ah. On hearing these verses, the master was about to go again into an ecstatic mood, but he restrained himself with effort. They could feel, the devotees could feel that he was going into samadhi. So much of joy when he heard these words, and then he could somehow control and want to talk with the devotees. Mahima read from the Yeti Panchaka. You see, one after another, how much he remembers the verses. And in Yeti Panchaka, surprisingly, it's about the Divine Mother speaking. I am she, the Divine Mother, in whom the illusion of the universe of animate and inanimate things is seen, as in magic, and in whom the universe shines, being the play of her mind. I am she, the embodiment of consciousness, who is the self of the universe, the only existence, knowledge, and bliss. Mother is here equated with the Satchidananda. And she says, I manifest that is this as this universe. And that's what I am, she says. I am she, the divine mother. This universe may be illusion, but it appears in Satchidananda, in me. When the master heard the line, I am she, the embodiment of consciousness, he said with a smile, whatever is in the macrocosm is also in the microcosm, is also in the macrocosm. Whatever is in the individual body, that is in the universe. That's what he said. Swami Vivekananda was very eager to know macrocosm and microcosm. He heard from Sri Ramakrishna. What is this riddle? The same thing, microcosm and macrocosm. How does it relate? He had this question for a long time while he was traveling India and all that. It didn't go. When he was in going to Almora and sitting in that Kankri Ghat, and suddenly it flashed to him in great spiritual mood, and he could find this solution problem of microcosm and macrocosm, that they are both same. That riddle was solved and he was very happy. And he said later to one of his Guru Bhais that, it was very wonderful day for me. The riddle of microcosm being same was solved today. Sri Ramakrishna says, you see, he had already understood all the time. Next, Mahima read the six stanzas of Nirvana. Manobuddhyam Karachittaninaham. So here the translation by Swami Nikhilanandaji, of course. Om, I am neither mind, intelligence, ego, nor chitta, neither ears, nor tongue, nor the senses of smell and sight, nor am I ether, earth, fire, water, or air. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. So mm, nothing of the body. Negates the body parts, and that I am nothing of these. I am Shiva, Satchidananda, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. And in this tongue, I remember one joke that once one teacher went to a school and he was reading something like this verse or something. Instead of pronouncing it as tongue, he pronounced it tangu. You've got TONGUE. So then then what happened? No, first he said to one of his students, he asked some question, and he replied, a school student. He said there's something, and he said, "Oh, your answer is not clear. It's vegu." So, so all laughed, and then student said, "Sir, if you don't mind, it's not. It's pronounced as not as vegu. It's pronounced as vague." So then it was very embarrassed. He said, "Yes, yes, I know. It was slip of my tongue." Then all laughed. The tongue also doesn't know. Then he said, "Sir, it is not pronounced tongue, sir. It is pronounced as tongue." Then the teacher was very angry. He said, "What do you think? I don't know. You don't argue with me." No. Don't argue, he said. Like that, if everything is like that. That's the joke, of course, distraction. So the other is I am neither the prana nor the five vital breaths, neither the seven elements of the body, nor its five sheaths, nor hands, nor feet, nor tongue, nor the organs of sex and voiding. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. All negates every body part, every action. It negates. Neither loathing nor liking have I. Now the mental thing. I neither greed nor delusion, no sense have I of ego or pride, neither dharma nor moksha, neither desire for the of the mind nor object for its desiring. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva. It is the Shankaracharya's stanzas on Nirvana, Nirvana Shatkam, six stanzas on Nirvana. So here now he denies all the actions because he has realized the soul. So he has no desire. He's free from desire. He describes, I have no desire. I have no desire for anything, not even for moksha, because he has already attained Jivan Mukti. Why will he have desire? So all desire is gone. So only thing I have realized that I am Shiva, the Chidananda Rupa, that I am. Neither right nor wrong doing am I, neither pleasure nor pain, nor the mantra, the sacred place, the Vedas, the sacrifice, neither the act of eating, the eater, nor the food. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. While eating, I am not the food, nor I am the eater, nor the process of eating. All thing is gone. He is always merged in the consciousness that he is Satchidananda Shiva. Death or fear I have none. Now this attachment was not there, desire was gone. The fear is gone. Death or fear I have none, nor any distinction of caste. Neither father nor mother, nor even a birth have I. Neither friend nor comrade, neither disciple nor guru. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. Shankara says at one place, um, Advaitam sarvakaryeshu nadvaitam guruna saha. So everywhere you can practice Advaita for anything. It's all one. There's no distinction. But as far as Guru is concerned, then you should treat Guru as Guru and yourself as disciple. Here he is such in such a high state of mind. Here even says, I don't have disciple, I don't have Guru. That is also gone. Everything merged in Advaita because he is identified with Satchidananda Shiva. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. I have no form or fancy, the all pervading am I. Everywhere I exist, yet I am beyond the senses. Neither salvation am I, nor anything that may be known. I am pure knowledge and bliss. I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Beautiful, this Nirvana Satkam. Nice, very wonderful translation by Swami Nikhilanandaji. Each time Mahima repeated, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, the master rejoined with a smile, not I, not I, thou art knowledge absolute. So, again, saying that, not about ego. So, not I, not a, naham, naham, tuhu, tuhu. He always tried to say that ego should not be prominent. Is God should be prominent. God should be foremost. Rabindranath also says in one of the poem that, "Oh Lord, please come and hide me, be in front of me in my heart, and hide me. May I be behind you. You should be projected, not I. In all my actions, in all my thoughts. Oh Lord, it is you who are actually doing. Why should the world know that I am doing it? It is you who are the creator of all songs and all poems. So, Amare Adal Korea Dano Hridaya Buddha Dole. So, in the lotus of my heart, you are there. Please hide me behind you. You should be projected. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, not I, but Satchidananda Shiva. And, but that thou art knowledge absolute. That thou, only thou, the knowledge absolute. Sri Ramakrishna saying that. Mahima read a few more verses and also a description of the six psychic centers of the body. He said that in Benares he had witnessed the death of a yogi in the state of yoga. Ah, six psychic centers means they are chakras, all the chakras about that he talked. Spoke. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, like that, Anahata. Mahima, there are fine passages in the Rama Gita. How much learned he is. Uttara Gita done, Nirvana Satkam done, Narada Pancharatra done. Now he talks about Rama Gita. Um, Master says now, you are speaking of the Rama Gita, then you must be a staunch Vedantist. How many books of that kind the sadhus used to read here? Mahima recited the description of Om. Now, from the Rama Gita, I must be reciting. It is like the unceasing flow of oil, like the long peal of a bell. About the characteristics of Samadhi, he read, the man established in Samadhi sees the upper region filled with Atman, the nether region filled with Atman, the middle region filled with Atman. He sees all filled with Atman. Adhar and Mahima saluted the master and departed. This was all scriptural teaching that Sri Ramakrishna inspired and asked Mahima Charan to read and quote from the scriptures, and all were enjoying the scriptures. There must be something in Bengali also they might be saying, otherwise I don't think everyone would know English and Sanskrit so well. So it was done. But how Sri Ramakrishna said that Rama Gita is all full of Vedanta. In Rama Gita is not like Ramana, that thing, not like Tulsi Raman, full of Vedanta. And many used to come and they recite Rama Gita, and I have heard from them. That's how Sri Ramakrishna knew about all the scriptures. And he was very happy with the thing. After doing that, it's already 8 o'clock, and after so many things, all are not quoted here. So many things happened. It must be about 10 o'clock when they left, this other and Mahima. Other was a deputy, a busy person, high government officer, but he used to come to Sri Ramakrishna. Often he used to come and listen to Sri Ramakrishna, but often, more than that, he used to come tired, come straight from work, whole day working, and a lot of mental work and all that. And he used to feel tired and would lie on a mat and fall asleep. Sri Ramakrishna said, don't wake him up. So nice talk was going, let him rest. That is enough that he comes. So, but this connection with Sri Ramakrishna, Adhar always had felt, and his love for Sri Ramakrishna was great. That's why Adhar invited when Sri Ramakrishna was invited by Adhar, invited this you know about that literature, and that Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in his house, all due to because of others, that thing that all came in touch with Sri Ramakrishna, and we have the chapter like that. So this gospel ends with that beautiful teaching. Sri Ramakrishna didn't give much advice except for a few that we had continued from last time about the 4 stages of life, and how what is the duty, and what 4 yogas, how each yoga is capable of giving us ultimate result of ultimate where we can find the moksha. Every yoga is capable of leading us to moksha. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said later on in Swami Vivekananda's work. You will always find that 4 yoga each are independent and able to take us to mukti or moksha. Not that one is dependent on other. Like it has been traditionally said that karma yoga leads you to purification of the heart. After heart is purified, then you practice jnana yoga, and you have to reach the knowledge of Brahman through jnana yoga alone. But that is not the Vedic view. Veda says you can reach, when you do karma yoga, already there will be chitta suddhi, and chitta suddhi done means you will realize the truth. You don't have to perform jnana yoga at all. It will come by itself. You will reach there. Not that you now karma yoga done. Now my chitta is purified. Now I will start doing jnana yoga. Oh, doesn't exist anything now. It's not that way. This karma yoga goes, chitta suddhi happens, you reach the truth. But ideal, as Swami Vivekananda said, is performing all the 4 yogas together, so that we get the benefit of all the faculties directed towards the thought of God. Thank you. With this, we end today's Friday scripture class. Next scripture class will be online only, and I'll be in perhaps in Sacramento that day in Northern California. Until then, so we'll do today the closing chant. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padpadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Thank you and good night to everyone. Joy Ma.